the literary selection by Ligaya Victorio Froto. Are we done with that, or we are going to discuss that?
Discuss pa, Jer.
Okay, discuss. So for a while, okay, please tell me if you can now see what's on my presentation. So last meeting, I asked, we had our fourth quarter orientation. I gave you all um, the lessons you can study in advance. I gave you the timetable. I informed you of the task, the PPs expected for everyone to accomplish at the end of the school year. So now, we will be having our first lesson of this last quarter of this school year, which is written by a Filipina teacher um, named Ligaya Victorio Proto. So please tell me if you can now see my presentation. I think we all can now see this. So let's start. So I would like to inform everyone of our objectives at the end of this session. First, I hope we can discuss the life of Ligaya Victoria Proto. Once I will be giving you some details about her life, some few facts lang, and then once you will have your breakout sessions later, please you can mention or maybe you can share something about what you have learned from her. Then second, read and analyze the short story Home is Where. So I will no longer be giving you time for you to read this one since I gave the remaining period last meeting for you to read the selection. So by this time, I am expecting everyone to just simply share what you have understood from that story. And then lastly, of course, analyze and answer the guide questions for a small group discussion and oral recitation. So let's get to know the author of this literary selection. So as mentioned again, she is Ligaya Victorio Proto. Um, she was born in the year 1914 and died in the year 2001. So very ancient na, diba? Kaedad ng lola niyo. Or lola, ay, lola ng nanay niyo. Or something like that. So, she was trained as a teacher, as I mentioned a while ago. She's a teacher. She was trained as a teacher at the National Philippine Normal School. And during her teenage years, she began teaching and writing stories which were published in leading national publications. So she wasn't only a teacher, but she also was a good writer. She taught in Baguio, and her stories were mostly presenting concepts about the lives of people in that certain region or in that mountain region. And not just only a writer, but she is also a journalist. She was considered as one of the forerunners of the Manila Times during pre-war. And since she is or she was a journalist, she married Ramon Ice, who died in World War II. So Ramon Ice or um, her husband was a newspaper reporter, di ba? Perfect match. A journalist and a newspaper reporter. So that's Ligaya Victorio Proto. Now, I hope you have read already um, the story, and I hope we are ready to share our thoughts about it. So kindly click the raise hand button if you have read the story. And if you are excited to share your thoughts about it. Okay, Miles is ready, Nor, Sophia, Isa, and the rest. Let me count. We are a total of 19 people in this meeting, including I know, 20, including myself and the presentation. So minus 2, that is a total of 18. Class people, please check the attendance. Thank you so much. So out of 18 people, only 14 are ready. So I hope the other 4 are no, online, actively joining in the actively joining this class. So let's start now. These are the guide questions or the questions we need to answer for us to um for me to check if you have really um learned something from the story. So first is, where is the setting of the story? If it is a setting, it refers to the place, the location, the time if it is given, and if there's an atmospheric setting provided, you can also have that as an answer. Second, where is home for the daughter and how about the mother? Third, why was the mother they're so determined to go home? What are the reasons? Fourth, what kind of a man was the woman's husband? And lastly, who do you think finally gave in? So before we will um, answer this, I will be giving you 15 minutes to write down all your answers. And later, after 15 minutes, I will be asking you to share all your answers here in the public chat. So by the time I will be calling you to answer, you will just simply copy and paste your answer. So it will not take long for you to send your answers. Are we clear with that? Okay, I hope that's clear. So time check, it's 1:36 p.m. Can someone do the math? You will be given 15 minutes. So what time should we start discussing our or sharing our answers? At exactly 1:40, sakto ba? 1:46. 1:51. Okay? Sige, you may start now. At exactly 1:51, we will start sharing our answers. So here are the questions.
Mag-break out room, sure.
Hello, class. Are we done answering the guide questions? Kindly click the raise hand button. Wait. Kindly click the raise hand button if you are done answering these five questions. Okay, let me count how many are done in answering the questions. Okay, 9. Some are still answering. 10, 11. Okay, I think that's a good number or enough number for us to start discussing. So the first question here is, where is the setting of the story? But I would like to begin the discussion by asking this general question. What is the story all about? Like if you are to describe it or kumbaga, to answer it in one sentence only, what is it all about? Does it talk about vitality? Does it talk about freedom? Does it talk about respect? What do you think? What is it all about? Yes, please use your microphones if you can. I greatly appreciate
Country.
using your microphones.
The
Yes?
story is about a mother and a daughter from Honolulu, Hawaii, trying to immigrate to the Philippines.
Okay. Yes, we have here more answers. It's about a mother and a daughter immigrating to the Philippines or going back to the Philippines, wanting to go back to the Philippines. From Pauline, a mother missing her home country. Okay, that's it. But what is the conflict of the story? Diba? In each story, there is always a problem. If there's no problem, there's no story to tell. Diba? So what is the conflict? So what if they want, or one, wanted to go back to the Philippines? What's the conflict in the story? Yes?
True. The mother wants to go home, but the daughter doesn't want to.
Okay, only the mother wants to go home, but the daughter doesn't want to go home to the Philippines or to go to the Philippines. So that's it. Now let's get started. We have here our first question. Where is the setting of the story? Now, please use your answers. Write down all your answers or to answer these questions. Please use your answers here in the public chat. I will be expecting a total of 18 answers in each question. This will serve as your attendance. So let's begin with the first question. Where is the setting of the story? If you say setting, it is the place, diba? The location, and so on and so forth. So send your answers here in the public chat. I can see one. Okay, waiting for others' answer. I can now see three. More answers, please. Okay, consultation room, consulate, consulate bench. What your answers are correct? The answer is yes, in the office of the Philippine Consulate in Hawaii. Now let's proceed to the second question. Where is home for the daughter and how about the mother? Again, where is home for the mother and the daughter? Can you send your answers? Please start sending now. Diba, where is home for the daughter and where is home for the mother? So they have different homes, the I. Let's check your answers. Kindly send now. Okay, I can now see one from Jade, second Miles, Sophia, Isa, Pauline. Again, this will serve as your attendance. No answer means absent. Okay. So for as for the daughter wanted or the daughter considers Honolulu, Hawaii as her home, whereas the mother considers Philippines as her home. Let's check if your answers are correct. Do you have the same answer? Okay, I think you all have the same answer. The answer is for the daughter, it's Hawaii. For the mother, it's in the Philippines. Now, next, talking about home, why do you think the mother was so determined to go home? What are the reasons why the two are in conflict? And why do you think the mother really wanted to go back to the Philippines? Kindly send your answers here in the public chat. More answers, please. What are the reasons? Let's read. Because she was suffering and wanted to escape from everything. What are these sufferings? Can you be more specific? Okay. The daughter considers Hawaii. No, sorry. She wants to go home to relieve the abuse and cruelty her husband gave her. She also misses her country because that is where she was born, and she probably misses the Philippines. Or to make it more specific, to have that in one word, it's homesickness, right? Because she was suffering and wanted to escape from everything. After the mother got divorced from her husband, who was much of a womanizer and abusive husband, she was determined to return to the Philippines. Same reason, sure, miss na namo siya. What's that, Lawrence? She has always wanted to go back to the Philippines, but because of her husband, she couldn't. And then she wants to go home because she wants to go home to her country after all the suffering she went through. Let's check if your answers are correct. The answer is yes, it's because of loneliness, homesickness for one's country. But though it is not in it is not detailed here, what are really the reasons why she really wants to go back to the Philippines? One, or I think two or three in this class mentioned that it was because of the divorce, or it's because of the cruelty and abuse she suffered from her husband. So yeah, I think the abuse, and mentally and emotionally being abused by her husband caused her to be lonely. And being lonely, of course, you cannot, it's inevitable to think of your home, well, which is in the Philippines, where she is originally from. So yeah, it's homesickness and loneliness for one's country. Now, talking about abusive and yeah, a womanizer husband, I think that was already answered. The kind of a man was an unfaithful man, unfaithful husband. Diba? Not only unfaithful, but I think unfaithful is such an understatement, diba? Or underword. Is there an underword? Medyo, this word is not enough to describe an unfaithful husband or someone who is not true to a partner. Diba? If unfaithful siya, meaning to say that person is abusive. It may not be abusive in a sense na that partner is physically abusing someone, but grave than that is abusing the partner mentally and emotionally. So her husband was much of a manipulator, unfaithful, and abusive husband. Yes, that's correct. Now, who do you think finally gave in? Since the conflict of the story or in the selection is that um, the mother wanted to go back to the Philippines and the daughter doesn't want to. Um, who finally gave in? If you have read the story, can you tell me who finally gave in? Yes, who finally gave in? Kindly send your answers here in the public chat. Kindly send your answers. Okay, let's read your answers. It was the daughter. Why? Why do you say so? Can someone explain why it was the daughter who finally gave in? Any explanation after seeing her mother break down? Okay, the answer is answer may vary. It was not really specified in the story who finally gave it, or who really gave it. Yeah, so answer may vary. It could be that it was the mother who gave in, or it was the daughter. Now let's have this last question. I will consider this as our exit question or a sum up question. So what is your definition of home and why do people long for home? Um, diba, we have this old maxim or this saying that there's no place like home. So why do you think people would always long for home even if they have tried visiting a number of beautiful places? Di ba? If you may have um, thought of this, Hawaii is such a beautiful country. It is such a beautiful place. Some would consider this as a paradise, di ba? Hawaii is such a very nice tropical country. So why do you think even if nice kayong place, people would always thought of going home? So kindly send your answers here in the public chat. Home is where we feel safe and can be ourselves. It may be a place or someone special, a safe sanctuary. Next, people long for home because they feel comfort for home. Home for me is where I feel like I belong. Home is a place where you are loved, cared for, and safe. So home is the place where I feel comfortable. It is where the heart is. That's correct from Miles. From Lawrence, it is a place where you feel belong since you can freely express who you are and do the things you love. What else? More examples, please. But I would like to specify or make this clear to everyone that if you say home, it doesn't limit only to a place, diba? Or something that I know it doesn't limit only into to a place. If we say home, it could also be a person, di ba? There's a person where whom you always feel at home with. So it doesn't only limit to a place. A home could also be a person. Like wherever you go, you always feel at home. Yeah, right? It is a place where you feel you belong since you can freely express. So wala yung nag-answer of person. Diba? Home is where. Home is a place. Home is where. Now, home could also be a person. So, diba? When you go at home, but if your loved ones are not in there, that isn't a home. Oh, okay. Sorry, Marinel. For me, home is when you are the people who you love the most. Yes, exactly. So time check, it's already 2:06 p.m. You still have until 2:15 to answer the module. Um, the questions we just answered are the same questions I asked you to answer a while ago. I mean the questions we just answered are the same questions written in your module. So you can just simply copy and paste your answer in the module. And once you're done, just simply send Don here in the public chat. Okay, if you have any questions, just feel free to chat me or send it here in the public chat. Thank you. Hello, class. Time check. It's already 2:40 p.m. I hope you are done submitting your modules for this literary selection. Deadline is at exactly before 12 midnight. So that would be all. Goodbye and thank you, everyone. Goodbye and thank you, everyone.
Bye, Chair.
Bye.